Well, Petit Manseng is from Jurançon, southwest France, that has the same sort of topography that we do. They have the Pyrenees, we have the Blue Ridge, but still both are fronted by rolling Piedmont. It's a small berry, loose cluster grape.
So welcome back to Virginia WineTV and our Winemaker series, and as many of you probably already know, the number of Virginia wineries has grown exponentially the last few years. And one of the newcomers is right here in Barboursville, Virginia at Reynard Florence Vineyard, and I have the proprietor, Allison here. So Ro, tell us a little bit about the operation here.
Well, Todd, as you can see, this is a small family artisan winery and vineyard. It grew out of a need for my wife Dee and I to do something with our property. We've lived here for over 30 years, and we used to just hit golf balls and bush hog out there, and thought to ourselves, it's bound to be a better use. We've always enjoyed and loved wine, and I had a romantic idea of wearing a straw hat and tending vines with a faithful dog, sort of silly. And
there's always that romanticism.
Yeah, I guess you've got to have a little of that, not to mention insanity. And about the time we started to get serious about it and making inquiries, our local community college, PVCC, started their workforce studies program. So we got on the inaugural round of classes with enology and vinacology, and found ourselves traipsing through vineyards and wineries on Saturdays and absolutely enjoying it, loving it. So we hired a psychiatrist and then went ahead and planted our vines.
He gave you the okay to start?
Well, we keep them on retainer because there are a lot of crazy things that go. And we planted these vines in '06, and from that have morphed into this modest tasting room.
Right, and talk about modest, you said the first year you had 50 cases.
We made 50 cases.
Now you're up to 500.
530.
Yeah, so that's a large jump.
It is.
In
yeah,
1
it
year.
Is. Yeah, and so we had to go to a different marketing scheme other than shaming friends and relatives.
So here's 50 cases, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, and so here we are. And really finding ourselves enjoying it.
Well, good. Well, what I find very interesting is that you have basically staked your winery on an interesting grape variety, Petit Manseng, which is somewhat growing in Virginia, but there's not too many of you out here. So tell us a little bit about why you selected this grape.
Well, Petit Manseng, well, for one thing, it was advised to us that would do well in this area. It's from Jurançon, southwest France, that has the same sort of topography that we do. They have the Pyrenees, we have the Blue Ridge, but still both are fronted by rolling Piedmont. It's a small berry, loose cluster grape, so it's more conducive to canopy management and
the loose clusters help with the humidity.
Exactly. You can get air in there. If you are putting material on it, it's easy for the fungicides and things to get into the canopy and into the fruit zone. Plus that, it's an amazing grape. Yeah. It has a real sweetness, and it's balanced by good acidity.
Right, and that's because you don't see hardly any. I would say, why would even people bother making 100% dry Petit Manseng? So they usually are bottled with a certain amount of sugar. So how much is your wines?
This particular wine that we made last year is 5% residual sugar. Yeah. It came in at 34.5 bricks.
Right, so that's a lot of acidity that will balance that sugar.
Well, it had great acidity with it, and that's one of the beauties of this particular grape, that it does have good acidity. If you really go dry on it, my impression is you have too much acidity. And so the sweetness it makes a great balance.
All right. And this is, and normally you would think of the 5% residual sugar would be syrupy, very sweet. You're having
that's dessert wine territory.
Yeah. And but with the acidity in the Petit Manseng, there's just a nice balance, a nice mouthfeel.
I think so.
And so is this the 2009, which was the gold winner at the
State Fair? Yeah, that's the 2009. This is the 2010.
So that is nice. I mean, that mouthfeel stays with you, just with the sugars of the grape, but then just the acidity.
It
and
has
the
a real
mouth.
texture to
Yeah.
it as well, I think.
Yeah, that's a really nice wine. So what else do you have on?
Well, we have Merlot out there. We have Petit Verdot, and we have a little Grenache that we're kind of excited about.
We're maybe one or two growers of Grenache.
I don't know who else is growing it. You really have to be crazy.
Yeah.
It likes southern climates. But we brought in some pretty nice fruit last year in spite of lousy harvest conditions. The numbers were really great on it, and the numbers out of the tank have really been good. We're excited about it.
No, that's a very interesting concept, and mostly for if people want to try something that's very new. I mean, that not too many people have in Virginia. So that's about all the time we have. So you're in a corridor next to Horton and Barboursville, some big names.
And Burnley.
And Burnley. So if people come out to visit that, just check for the winery on the map, and very close, maybe 5 minutes away from each.
That's quite true.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for coming by.
Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time on Virginia Wine TV.